Hi, and welcome back to a new mini jam in Cinemajam. Today, we will be doing a recap on September tapes, the cycle or the genre that we decided to go over on the month of September, where we discussed several documentaries and, well, no, sorry, mockumentaries, especially movies that were very close to the genre, where they were trying to do a documentary. They were doing the camera was a character in the movie, basically. As always, I am Sebastian Gomez from Austin, Texas, and from Montreal, Canada.
Hello, Velez. Hi, Sebas. Hi, everyone.
Pablo, I'm excited to talk about what the movies that we saw. We had a lot of fun talking about this genre. I mean, this is a very popular genre, especially in the horror type of movies, especially because since 1980, when the movie Cannibal Holocaust came out, it became like a huge controversy, especially in Italy, where they have to call the actors to a judge to make sure that the actors were really alive and they were not killed in the movie, because this type of movie was kind of like prohibited at the time in many parts of the world, right? It was a very violent movie. And then after that, only 13 movies came out in the genre. And the one that they really break it out into the common public, I guess, it would be the Blair Witch Project, that it was a revelation, right? It's a movie that basically I think was made by for $20,000 or even less, and it became like $100 million hit in the United States. And a lot of people thought that the movie was real, but it was obviously a mockumentary. So this is a genre that has really become part of the subconscious, and now you see it all the time. I mean, every year more than 10 movies come out in the same style. Even animated movies, as we were talking about, Surf's Up, a picture animated movie, was in this style. There are comedies, like one of the ones that we saw actually in this one, that is What We Do in the Shadows. And we were inspired. Why were we inspired? Because this month came out in the theaters, the sequel to,
Spinal Tap. This is a Spinal Tap.
yes, another classic movie from the genre, from the mockumentary from 1980. So, yeah, I mean, it's a 40-year-old movie now. So I'm actually surprised that a sequel came out of this one, but we didn't
So
see it.
as you were introducing the genre and the cycle that we're discussing in September, I was looking up in Wikipedia the definition of mockumentary, and actually mockumentary is they call it a portmanteau, kind of like two words merged in one, mock and documentary. So in essence, mockumentary is about a type of film or television that does a depiction, shows a fictional event as a documentary. And initially, mockumentaries were comedic in nature. They were supposed to be funny, like a comedy, like
Like a fake interview or that type of thing
exactly,
that you saw in
because
television.
they're meant to be mock, like a pseudo documentary. And the first example they put here is Spinal Tap. This is Spinal Tap from Rob Reiner, which came out in the mid-90s and is the one that popularized the concept of having a crew following a group of people, and then going through these different storylines and things that happen. And then, as you said, the Blair Witch Project took this to the to the extreme, and became a cultural phenomenon. So yeah, no, this is that has been an exciting genre to do.
Yeah, and I mean, and the Blair Witch Project also, a cheap movie made with less than $20,000. Paranormal Activity, another movie that was made for less than, I think, also like $20,000. And there were movies, they were hits from that made hundreds of millions in the box office. So, of course, everyone like, okay, wait, we can make a movie for $20,000 with all our friends, and we can take it to the movie theater and make $100 million, okay, of course it's going to become popular and we can see it. In the end, we choose 4 movies that actually they were not really that big hits in the theater. Now that I think about it,
Yeah, none of
but
them.
they did something unique, right? Each one was doing something unique, and that's what we were looking for actually in this one. So they were maybe flops, but I think they were worth watching. Each one did something special, and that's why we choose them. The first one I proposed, it was What We Do in the Shadows. This is a New Zealand movie made by Taika Waititi, the comedian director, very popular, especially for movies like Thor Ragnarok and Thor Love and Thunder. Uh, as
Jojo
part of
Rabbit,
the Jojo Rabbit. Well, that
very
was
good,
more like an independent movie, but yeah, it was
very
a
good
very
movie.
good movie. Yeah. But I mean, most of the people know him for the big Marvel movies or Marvel franchises. Then you propose.
Then next, I proposed The Last Exorcism, a movie from 2010, directed by Daniel Stam. It's an American movie. It's produced by Eli Roth, the great Eli Roth. And as a highlight, yeah, I mean, we spoke about the performance from Patrick Fabian, who's the lead character, the exorcist in the movie, a preacher that does an amazing job, keeping us interested in the story.
Yes. And after that, I propose The Troll Hunter, Norwegian movie, directed by Andre Obredal. It was a very interesting movie, also from 2010. In this movie, we felt there was a lot of, they were really into the beat, basically. It has comedic things happening, but the actors, the people do it completely serious, and technically is a horror movie because it's about monsters that they are following them. So it was very interesting seeing it, and the visual effects for a cheap movie from Norway is actually very well done. And we were talking also, we mentioned it when we were talking about the episode, that Monsters, that is also a movie from 2010, and I think Troll Hunter actually influenced a lot of directors when they realized that they could use visual effects made cheaply and they could actually make them independently. So there was like a transformation in the industry, like they could actually, you know, reach out more outside of what they were used to doing, because normally, they independent horror movies were always like a guy with a mask. In this case, they realized, okay, maybe we can look for something else and we can also do something interesting things. And we talk about that the Andrea Obreal is actually, he went out to do a lot of more different movies. Like we talk about the autopsy of Jane Doe and
Last voyage of the Demeter.
the Demeter. Yes, that's right. Yeah.
That's a
So
really
he
that's a really really good movie. One that shows that he knows how to direct horror movies.
more
Is a very very good one.
and with big budgets, yeah, because that's a Universal movie. And the last movie that we saw that we just discussed
Yes, the
actually this
last
week,
one, exactly the last one that we saw is the Poughkeepsie Tapes. You can see it in the title of our backdrop image. The art that Sebastian makes for our episodes. So this is a movie that came out in 2007, directed by John Eric Dowdle. I want to say that's how you spell his name. Pronounce his name, last name, and also written by his brother Drew Dowdle. The movie is from all the ones that we saw uh, that were based around the concept, the genre of mockumentaries. This is the one that has the most elements that are specific to mockumentary, in the sense that you have all these different elements in it. You got interviews, You have this fake reporters. You have the police. You got police academies. You also have the point of view of the killer, and it makes you believe that you're watching, as you were saying before, Sebas, one of those documentaries on Netflix about a serial killer, like, I don't know, Jeffrey Dahmer or something like that, or
The
Ed Gein,
Menendez brothers, yeah.
or the Menendez brothers, exactly, something a bit more recent. And actually, John Eric Dowdle, the director, ended up directing the series about Waco, the Texas, event in the
Cult,
early 90s,
yeah.
the cult, exactly. Thanks. So it's the one movie that maybe represented best the definition of mockumentary, but we also felt that it was one of the most difficult movies we've had to watch so far in this podcast. So it was a bit of a bittersweet review.
It was very dark, yeah, and especially with
Very
a
dark,
very dark
very dark.
ending. It might be worth watching, but you really need to have the stomach to be able to process what is happening, because yeah, we were talking about that his wife is one of the main characters and is probably the one that suffers the
Is
most in the
is
movie.
the main character, is the girl that gets abducted by the serial killer, and you get to see her journey and how she ends up. So it's not good. It's not,
Yeah, it's basically
it's a
the
tough
only
watch.
yeah, he's the only character that we see from beginning to end, basically. So because we never see the face of the killer in that case. And that director actually went to just not do only the Waco, the well-reviewed Waco series, but also the Quarantine remake and its sequel, As Above, So Below, and other great movies. So I think it was a very good month. I'm not going to deny it. I watched the movies, and I was actually, this is one of the months that normally we wait until Friday to record, and in this month I was, hey, I already watched it. When do you wanna discuss it? I wanted to jump in and talk about it, because all the movies offer so different point of views, so interesting. Each one, it was like an interesting thing to discuss. So I really appreciate it.
So
Uh,
do we still have the questions where we go over to be able to classify the movies and like compare the movies? We had a list of questions.
yeah, I think one of the things we always ask is, we have to write it in the Trello.
Yeah, we should.
Is what was your biggest surprise?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's start with that one. Okay, so what was your biggest surprise in the series?
I think I mentioned that when we were talking about the dedicated episode to the Poughkeepsie Tapes. I was very surprised that watching the movie a second time made me appreciate more what the director wanted to do with the movie. Like, knowing what was happening, I was a bit less distracted by the raw images, with the girl that was abducted, and then the whole different storylines about the serial killer. I paid a bit more attention to the scenes, the build up, the way he directed them, and it made me appreciate the movie way more than I thought I would. Because the first time I saw it, I was like, I'm not watching this movie ever again in my life. But then I thought, you know what? There's something here worthwhile talking about, especially if our cycle, our genre is mockumentaries for the month of September. So that was the thing, Silas. I guess realizing that a second watch, specifically for a movie that is a tough initial watch, helped appreciate it better. You're on mute, Sales.
That's a good one. I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch it a second time, but I might try it. I mean, yeah, I think it
One
was
day and
cool to
and
watch
and,
it. Yeah.
and get yourself like a nice whiskey.
Yeah, I would probably have to be on the influence for that.
Yeah, you need to
Mm.
have a couple of like good shots of whiskey, and then you'll be okay.
in, in in my case, I think actually Troll Hunter was a good surprise. I think I watched that movie a long time ago. I don't even remember when I watched it, but I actually thought that the effects, maybe they didn't hold up as much as you expect from a cheap movie, but they still look good. I mean, they were still fine. I mean, I
Except
still
the
believe
trolls.
that.
Everything was very good except the trolls. The
I
moment
actually like the trolls.
the moment they showed the faces of the trolls, too they were too much like the trolls that you think about from the fairy tales, from the books. Like
Well,
they look
yeah,
like cartoons.
they actually base them in fairy
Yeah,
tale books. So
so that was the thing. I mean, they didn't. The movie was taking itself so real, so like that. The movie was taking itself
so
so
serious.
real, so serious. Thank you. That you were expecting them to depict, to show the trolls as something less cartoon like and something more animal like. I was hoping to see something a bit, less obvious, but since the first like scene where you actually see a troll with the big nose, they're like, oh no, I feel like I'm watching the movie from DreamWorks, the one where the trolls started like singing. I thought they were gonna start like singing at some point.
I actually, well, Pablo didn't like it, but I was actually gladly surprised that I think they were better than I expected.
I
Uh,
never said I didn't like it. I said that was a bit of a letdown, the trolls themselves, but the movie is very
no,
well
no,
made.
I like the
and
trolls.
and the
I
effects,
like them
like the
more than
overall
I
effects.
expected.
Yeah, the special effects are good. Like the way, and the we said also
Oh, the
the
landscapes,
landscape.
the
Yeah, yeah,
cinematography.
yeah. That was nice. That was very good. Norway seems to be an amazing country. I want to go there one day.
And the acting of Hans, the main character, I think he is a comedian, but he was so. That's actually one of the questions. The best acting, I actually think him and Patrick, the
The
Reverend
preacher,
Cotton,
the preacher in
Reverend
the
Cotton.
Last
I think
Exorcism. Yeah.
those two are like the main one, especially because they really were committed to the beat. So I actually admire those two. Like,
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Although I put Patrick, the Reverend Cotton, first because he carried the movie. Because the other question that we had was about who was the best actress or the leading lady. When we did the femme fatale, the film noir genre, we talked about who was the best femme fatale. So since this is mockumentaries, like, was there like a victim or someone like a female character that we could relate to? And the one from the Last Exorcism, we both agreed that it was not maybe so relevant. The movie was carried by the performance from Patrick Fabian, from Reverend Cotton. Is so good. Is so warm. So, I mean, he's a preacher. He talks a lot, and he's always like preaching. But at the same time, he's being honest, and you can see his the arc in in the story. From someone who was a believer to not a non-believer, someone that just saw this as a business, and then realizing at the end that no, it's for real, and I need to man up and face the devil.
that was a good bit. Actually, after what happens after that, that's the ending, the part of the ending that I didn't like. I would have liked more of that. He manning up, or I guess finding his fate and seeing it in the screen, but they cut to it. They cut to the side and they run away. So that's really the part. That's actually my biggest disappointment. It was that ending. It was a little bit frustrating. I mean, and I know why it's controversial, but yeah, what was your biggest disappointment in the series?
Well, so as you told me that What We Do in the Shadows was one of your favorite movies, that you even bought it, and that it was like you built it up for me, and I thought it was okay, but I don't know. It wasn't like that amazing. I was wishing for more, and I was really like trying hard to get into it, but I don't know. It was like so obvious. It felt a little like scary movie. Like
Like yeah,
at some points in it, like they were always like mocking and making fun of the different like horror like characters, because it's not just about vampires. They also have werewolves, and they even have witches. They have
witches,
like a
zombies.
Yeah, they have like a party, like a ball, with all the New Zealand's monsters, and they're all, represented as like these jokes, like these cartoons, and I was like, no, come on,
Yeah, it
why?
was. I still enjoy the movie, but I'm not going to deny that some of the worst acting was in that movie. I think the Taika Waititi acting in that movie was very
Yeah, it's really bad.
disappointing. Yeah,
He should stick to directing.
definitely. Yeah, he's a good
Who
director
was
and writer, but yeah, it was
Sebas?
acting.
I mean, we didn't talk about the most important like female character in this cycle, and I want to say is the lady from the Poughkeepsie Tapes. Um,
Yes, Cheryl. Yeah,
Cheryl. Yeah,
or the actress
Shelly.
is
Yeah,
what is the name of the actress?
her name is
Stacy
Stacy
Chbosky.
Chopsky. Yep.
Chbosky.
Cheryl Dempsey is the name of the character, the woman that gets abducted, kidnapped by the serial killer, and especially the last sequence, the last parts of the movie with the interview. Those are really like really amazing acting. I think she's the best one.
Yeah, she actually, yeah, she did a very good job, and especially like the brainwash victim. Yeah, it was pretty good. Um, well, okay, you already. What was your biggest disappointment? What did you say that was? The
And the
trolls?
no, 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 what we do in the shadows. I was
Ah,
hoping
okay,
that
the movie,
yeah,
the movie. Okay,
I
okay.
was really hoping that it was going to be more funny than I thought it would, like more seriously funny, like sophisticatedly speaking, more funny than it really was. Sebas, maybe from a director point of view, from a direction better point of view, what movie you think was best directed?
Actually, it's kind of hard. I really like Troll Hunters, and I really like the Poughkeepsie Tapes. I think that's where the vision of the director was more clear, and you could tell that this is the story that I want to tell, and this is how I want to tell it. So I think those two represented better. Maybe I will go a little bit on the edge for Poughkeepsie Tapes because you could tell that there was a director involved in there, that he made every single decision that was happening in the screen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Less,
agree.
I
And
think the movie is the one that you can tell is the less improvised, because the other three had a lot of improvisation, and that's part of the mockumentary style, right? But the Poughkeepsie Tapes is the less improvised. You can tell, by leaps and bounds, that everything is acting. Bad acting in many cases, but acting nonetheless.
I think, yeah, no, I agree with you. The Poughkeepsie Tapes really, you can really see that the director had a vision and that he followed that vision, that goal of creating a real documentary like experience. And no, he succeeded in doing that. There were moments in the movie that you actually thought that you were watching something that was a TV documentary. I
Mm.
felt like that at the beginning. Sorry, the first time that I saw it, I felt like that. And maybe that's why I was a bit, not so into it, because I'm not really into documentaries about serial killers. That's not my thing. But with the second watch, that's when I realized that he was actually like really doing the mock part of the mockumentary. Like he was actually like doing that in a very serious way, and that made it even more effective. I agree with you.
I agree. Well, the last question is there is something that you didn't get, or that I didn't get, like something that you don't understand, like you're surprised why I didn't get it, or something that everyone talks about it and you don't get it?
Maybe answering the first part, I'm still surprised that you don't like the ending of the Last Exorcism. I think it was a very unexpected, brave decision, to end the movie the way they ended it. I'm not talking about, the cameraman being killed at the end. I'm talking about the revelation of what happened. like bringing the movie like back into the supernatural element, because at some point the movie was going in a different direction, and they could have gone that way and it would have been way more traditional. But it's really that I thought it was really effective, and I don't understand why you don't like that, Sebas.
I think it was about the change in direction and that you really didn't understand if it was happening to the character. So it was more like maybe like a personal feeling. I'm not really sure, but it was like the Patrick was completely on character, but the actress that was doing the beat didn't feel like she was committed to the character, or she didn't knew what she was supposed to be doing. So in that case, maybe it was like a lack of direction. Okay, Pablo, let's do the ranking. So in the end, we decided that we're going to go over The Last Exorcism is going to be the first one.
Mm-hmm.
We decided that Troll Hunters has
Troll
a lot
Hunter.
of potential. What?
Troll Hunter, not
Troll
Hunters.
Hunter. Sorry. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Troll Hunter is the animated Netflix series.
Yeah, the plural
Nothing
is
to do with it. Yeah,
the DreamWorks movie.
No. The Troll Hunter is the movie that we talk about. We like what they have. It was an indie movie that really have more, effect in the world, I guess, with the use of visual effects and the commitment to the beat. So I think it was good. The Poughkeepsie Tapes is the third one, and What We Do in the Shadows is the fourth one, right?
Correct.
Okay,
Yep.
so that's our ranking. We're going to put the poll in the podcast, so please vote if you have any preference. Thank you, everyone. You can reach out to us on different social media. We are in YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, where you can search for us as Cinemajam Pod. We want to reach out to the community. Please participate, send us comments, send us ideas for new movies or new genres that we can discuss. And we are also in cinemajampodcast@gmail.com. And okay, until next week, keep jamming about movies.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Till next week.